So here's basically what I want you to take away from this about the history of Brazil. Number one, started by Portuguese colonists who were very interested in extracting resources and ran very much a slave-based economy and split up the local ethnic groups and turned them against each other in order to maintain their power. And then in the peak of that monarchic period, the crown actually moves itself to Brazil to establish a very powerful core, oligarchic core to Brazilian power. And then after the Brazilians finally kick out the European crown, they have this incredibly unstable period of like democracy, fascism, democracy, dictatorship, democracy, fascism, that all seems to have the strings being pulled by this elite oligarchy still that runs the plantations and owns kind of everything and has all the money and uses all of those resources that Brazil has. I mean, this is the Amazon rainforest we're talking about. This is one of the most resource-rich areas on the planet. This oligarchic class just treats that as their own little savings reservoir and basically just play politics with all the different people involved to maintain the hegemony that has always existed and has always allowed them to become extremely rich through a lot of corruption. But then after the last period of dictatorship, some pretty serious democratic reforms got put in place, including these independent judiciaries. And during the biggest boom years in Brazil's history, a super populist guy who was not from the oligarchy, who grew up poor, comes into power and starts actually socializing the economy and giving a lot back to the lower classes. And everyone was fine with that while there was all kinds of money to go around. But now we're in a tough spot. Brazil is in a super tough spot. And so people are starting to get a little bit pissed at all those socialist reforms. So they hate that guy and they hate his regime. And they've been trying to bring it down. But Brazil actually has mandatory voting in its elections, so a populist is an extremely powerful person. And despite their best efforts, they haven't been able to displace him or his successor, both of whom we're going to talk about in the next video. Until now, possibly. And what it took was literally the biggest corruption scandal ever in human history. So tomorrow we're going to get into that. I hope you enjoyed all this context in history. Personally, I found it fascinating, but I don't know, maybe you didn't, in which case, why the fuck are you still watching? Go out and get a goddamn life. Don't sit here with a video you're bored by. Go do other things. There's like, you know, all kinds of video games and movies and TV shows, so go do some of that shit instead of listening to me rant about Brazilian history. You know what? I don't even want to fucking say goodbye to you. Fuck off. Sorry, that got out of hand. I don't know what came over me. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Toodaloo, arrivederci, adios.